Hi guys, it's Chris here from Tech Tablets with the Teclast X98 Pro. This model here I have is the dual boot Android version, so it's the model number K9C6. Now the first model I looked at was the K9C3, and that was the Windows 10 only model. This now is the latest version with dual boot on it. Now I have covered Windows already, so I'm not going to look at that. So this is just basically an Android review. Very quickly, just give you some of my opinions on how the ROM is, how it runs, benchmarks, and then the fun part, I'm going to do some gaming tests, which will be shortly. I'm just going to cover a few things on the ROM here. So what we have is Android 5.1. This is ROM version 1.03 that it's currently running. So it's Teclast bloated, laggy launcher. Now the overall ROM is reasonably stable, and I say reasonably because I have noticed some screen flickering. From time to time the screen has flashed, but overall it seems to work quite well. Temperatures within the Android side of things are actually really good. You might have noticed right here that I have this 34 moving around. Keep an eye on that because that is the actual temperature of the CPU. I'm going to keep that on the whole time, CPU temp running in the background, so I can watch the temperatures when I'm gaming on this thing. So overall it's just so much cooler than it is on Windows, and I think that's down to the way the governor is controlling the CPU, so it's not turboing as long. Maybe the GPU is clocked a little bit lower, but overall, if I show you the benchmarks, the scores that I'm getting are actually the same as Windows 10, if not better. So this is the iStorm Unlimited score, so 26,000 almost, just shy of 26,000. Very good score considering the hardware, because this is an Atom X5 Z8500 that's aboard this, 4 gigabytes of RAM. And this is the Epic Citadel score here, so 52 frames per second average. Very good score. Not bad at all considering the resolution it's running there. If you have a look at that, you might think, oh, that should be 60 frames a second with this hardware. Yeah, not at that resolution though. Maybe if it was running 1080p. And this is the Geekbench 3 score, which actually the multi-core score got higher than Windows in my Windows test, probably about 300 to 350 points higher there. Not really sure why that is. Maybe because Android's a little bit lighter than Windows 10, so it had more resources. And here's the slingshot score for 3D Mark. And you see up here next to where the 34 degrees is, just there is 43 degrees. So that's as hot as it got during that test. Here's the Antutu 5.7.1 score. Not a bad score. If you have a look at the CPU scores there and compare that to other tablets, I think it's reasonably good. That's how that compares. So it's a little bit faster than our GT4. So benchmarks aside, actually sorry, one last benchmark I do want to show you, just this one right here. So this is the wireless speed. I found wireless stability has been really good. It hasn't been cutting in and out. I haven't had any problems with an asterisk showing up saying limited connection or anything like that, which can sometimes happen on these Chinese tablets. So far so good. It runs really well. And those speeds there, I got 23 upload and 43 download megabits per second. That's around about the same speeds that I got from my desktop. But I wasn't too far from the wireless router when I did this test though, so the further I am away, the speeds do start to drop off a little bit. So if I'm running this from downstairs, which is probably through about 3 or 4 doors and the first floor onto the bottom floor, then those speeds probably half because of that. It's got a lot of stuff to pass through, but overall I'm quite pleased with the wireless speeds, and I have actually seen worse or better, but those speeds definitely fine. There's no real problem with that at all. So it does have this low, laggy, horrible kind of launcher. Now I could dump this and put Nova Launcher on there, or Apex Launcher, which I highly recommend you do. But for the sake of this review here, I'm keeping it stock, and I'm also keeping it the stock resolution. You probably notice the borders either side here, so it's 4:3, because I'm going to keep it the same, so you get an idea of what it looks like on the screen. But it's going to be a lot sharper than what you're looking at on this video here, because I'm outputting in 1080p. So we do have the logo there to boot to Windows. If I hold that, you can boot straight into Windows from Android, which is a recent thing they added this in the Teclast X98 Air 3G. and the last ROM builds, and it's quite a good feature, so no more rebooting the tablet again to restart the whole thing and then move over to Windows. Now you can do it straight from Android there, which is really good. Cameras are working, unlike the first model that I flashed over to dual boot with the dual boot BIOS. There's still a problem present with the cameras, so they don't work at all, but these cameras do actually work just fine. Front. Okay, it doesn't want to, it just crashed on me. And it crashed on me because I've got HDMI connected, I think is the reason why that crashed. But it does work, trust me. It's just because I'm doing this recording live, it's playing up on me, and it's bound to happen that something's going to crash or not work there. So overall, the ROM is okay, the performance is good, and as I mentioned, there's a bit of instability now and then where it does flash. But, you know, it's okay. They are pushing out updates, Teclast, the auto update tool. You should run that now and then just to check for updates, but I do have the latest version at the moment. The funny thing is it's saying X98 E3G, but this is definitely the Pro that I'm running here. And I'll just quickly show you the free RAM. So if I go over to apps, I've just downloaded a lot of stuff at the moment that I've been running. So normally around, when you first boot it up, you get about 3.2 or 3 gigabytes free RAM, which is ample for Android. You can just go multitasking crazy. And I've got a few things running here. This is the standard task manager there that you get with Android 5 now. And you can see at the bottom there's all those menu buttons as well, which I don't particularly like. They've got the screenshot one, so yeah, I can go and take a screenshot. And then the volume controls, the home and the back. But it's not really centered right, and I don't particularly like that. So enough of the ROM anyway. It's fine, it's stable, it works. Let's get on to the fun part. I think I've blabbed on enough. I'm going to focus now on the gaming side of things here. So to start now with Modern Combat 5, probably the most demanding game that this tablet has to run.
Company, 12 o'clock!
Strike 2, this is Monarch. Advance to extraction point B. Over.
You heard him, come on! I gotta reload! Take him out! We need to take him out! That's our ride out of here! Reloading! Get in the goddamn boat! Let's get out of here. We've got company! Keep on firing! Shit! Chopper! More incoming! Keep them off us! Hang on! Fuck! Keep on firing, goddammit!
I
FIFA 16 Ultimate Team. This game I think is running in a native resolution, so it's not actually just upscaling the resolution from a low resolution. I think it's running natively, which might explain the lag you're about to see here. A huge amount of lag. And now you can see just how slow this is. Now it's got nothing to do with me running the HDMI, because I did actually run this without HDMI hooked up, and it ran exactly the same. So this is just painfully slow. This is like a slideshow, basically. It looks like a slideshow to me. It's running, I estimate, around 15, maybe less actually, like 10 or 8 frames per second, so it's not playable at all. FIFA 16, you might just want to forget about this one. But I think you're going to have to, otherwise you just go crazy, unless EA issue a patch for this. I think if I can finally actually just get the ball here and pass this on. If you've got a huge amount of patience, maybe you can play this. But there's no way I would be playing this game in this kind of frames per second. This is horrible. I'd hate to see what this runs like on the Bay Trail. Maybe it's something wrong with the app. I don't see why it couldn't play this, because I think... Well, I know that PES 2016 runs in Windows, but again, that's using a different engine. So that's enough of FIFA there. That's just running absolutely horrible. We'll actually be using accelerometer on. I'm only on the second mission cube, just started playing this game, but it plays very similar to that Miami Hotline game. In fact, you could call it a clone, or is it the other way around? Pretty sure this is a clone though. The kind of old school games I used to play looked down like this on my Amiga 500. It's a long time ago. Takes a while to get used to the controls of this game, I find. I found the subway entrance without dying just yet. So straight away in the lobby there's quite a bit of lag there as it's loading in the rest of the other players here online. But that's normal, I think. It happens everywhere. Reminds me of Diablo 3. I think we'll move on to the next one.
Show me your license.
So the amount of free storage that you have on board is about 16-17 gigabytes. Here I have 11 gigabytes used because I installed all of those games. So I am very grateful that this is not a 32 gigabyte only model, because that would be horrible because things are partitioned up between the two operating systems. We have Windows 10 partition, the Windows 10 recovery, then we have the Android side of things, we have the user partition, the system partition. So really, it doesn't give you much free room there, but at least I can install all those games. And you do have a micro SD card slot, so you can expand that. Now, in terms of battery life, I'm actually charging the tablet at the moment, so that's not good at all, I know, but I can tell you that you get around 4 hours, so 4 hours, 4.5 maybe if you lower it down, and if you're going to be gaming non-stop, then I think you're looking at about 3.5 hours, which isn't ideal. It's definitely a step down from the older generation, the last model, the X98 Air 3G, which could get around 6 hours, 6.5, 7, so a bit of a step backwards there, and overall the ROM, as I mentioned, it's not wonderful. It'd be really good to probably just dump the stock launcher, get Nova on there, or Apex launcher, and hopefully the likes of Merrick 190 from XDay Forums will come along and make us a wonderful custom ROM for this, and he can work his magic there. So, that's the video there. I hope you did enjoy the gaming test there. Thank you for watching the video, and hopefully catch you in the next up and coming videos I have on Chinese tablets. Bye for now.